portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Well, last night, the Department of Social Services modernized its food assistance program with a new debit card system.
And the Bank of the Bahamas has partnered with government in operating the debit card.
Cleopatra Murphy tonight tells us that officials insist the new system will be monitored to ensure the maximum benefit for clients.
As the Department of Social Services moves to modernize and promote efficiency in its food assistance program, Alberta Thompson was the first client to be presented with the new Visa debit card Thursday night. The card comes with restrictions to prevent clients from abusing them and can only be used to purchase grocery at stores that accept Visa, as Social Services Minister the Honorable Melanie Griffin explains.
The cards have already been tested in the stores. They cannot be used for anything now other than food assistance. We expect as we move forward that we will be able to include our other assistance programs on the card. So you can't use it in a web shop, you can't use it in a liquor store, you can't use it in a clothing store.
With value-added tax expected to be introduced at 7.5% in January, the department is preparing for any additional burden it brings. There are no plans at present to increase food assistance disbursements, but it is an option.
That is something we will have to give consideration to as we monitor what will happen. Particularly right now with this new program that we have with the prepaid card, where it is easily reloadable through the bank. We will be able to move very swiftly to address whatever adjustments need to be made.
Presently, food assistance allotments are $80 monthly, and that increases by $20 based on the number of people in the house, up to 5. Griffin says with approximately 6,000 clients, the department is limited in what it can do.
If you start at $80, you may end up at $120, sometimes $180 per month, because it's meant to supplement, and to assist.
As the program unfolds, the Foxhole Social Services Center will be the next to roll out the cards until the food coupons are phased out. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Well, we continue our series on the drug trade in the Bahamas tonight. Engineer Noel Ferguson takes a closer look at the white powder and its impact on society.
Cocaine is known on the streets as the white lady, fairy dust, and the unicorn, but it's an addictive stimulant made from the leaves of a cocoa plant and causes a short-term euphoria for users. Users try to reach a never-ending high, and since the 1970s, it has been found on the streets of the Bahamas. Chief Superintendent of Police Samuel Butler, who's the officer in charge of the Drug Enforcement Unit, says while drug seizures of cocaine have been significant, there has been a decrease in the importation of this drug.
We are pleased to be able to say while we are still fighting and going after cocaine seizure, we are aware that there's less cocaine being trafficked in the Bahamas today as compared to probably 5 years ago.
The white powdery substance is smuggled into the country, tightly packed in saran wrap and duct tape. Sergeant Garrett Roll in the unit says the illegal drug is then modified according to preference.
Based on further enhancement of the drug, crack cocaine in a rock form, normally used by the lower end persons in society. This cocaine, in its purest form, is more of the preference of the elite and the socially inclined. Here we have the ecstasy. It's more of social drugs, nightclubs, youngsters. They would prefer this in its natural form. Typically, as ASP Minus alluded to, there's no one or two smuggling methods. We've seen the transshipment throughout the Bahamas in numerous forms.
And although cocaine is smuggled in on a smaller scale when compared to marijuana, the DEU's K9 unit is used to sniff out any illegal substances.
Of how we train the drug dog, that's very confidential. But I can assure the Bahamian public that our dogs are in top shape, and to the would-be drug runners, we're coming to get you.
More than 20,000 pounds of drugs have been seized by drug enforcement officials this year. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Well, no illegal guns have been turned in as yet and to the sanctuaries, but a group of pastors say they will not let up on their campaign to help rid the country of those deadly weapons. Earlier this week, the pastors invited gang members and others to turn in their illegal weapons, as guns have been the weapon of choice in the majority of murders on the book this year. To help diffuse possible conflicts, the pastors say they will act as mediator.
Every church, there are 4,000 churches in the Bahamas, and we are saying, call on us not only to bury your son, but to counsel with him before death comes. To be honest, we are challenged by the fact of funerals every Saturday, and usually young black boys.
We will not expose, we will not render names or looks or anything about the individual that brings in the gun. Our main focus is to get these illegal guns off the street.
Because no matter where you run and hide, my son or my daughter, the police, the law will catch up with you.
Now, Reverend Carl Ramming, who leads a congregation in the heart of the Fox Hill community, which has certainly had its share of crime, says it's nearly impossible for the police to handle this issue on its own. He's calling on other pastors to walk with them as they seek to reach young men and women in a more tangible way.
The young men today that you see on the streets involved in these gangs sometimes don't look on us ministers as being humble enough for them to approach. Some of them feel that we are not approachable. And so I want to say to us as pastors, as leaders, let us exhibit that humble spirit in order to reach out to those young men. Let them feel comfortable when they are around us.
Well, the quick and immediate response, as well as the dedication to citizens of the Bahamas by police, led to the apprehension of a 31-year-old man of Garden Hills within hours after he committed an armed robbery on Friday, November 21st. According to reports, shortly after 7 a.m., a woman had just walked outside of her residence located at Theodore Lane off John F. Kennedy Drive when a man armed with a handgun robbed her of cash and fled on foot. Police launched an intense investigation into that matter that led to the arrest of the suspect shortly after 1 p.m. Police also recovered a handgun used in the armed robbery by the suspect. Well, the search is still on for an elderly man who's been missing for 3 days now. Relatives of 77-year-old retired Inspector Anthony Lonford Bastian are trying to find him. Mr. Bastian left his Zion Boulevard home around 11:30 Tuesday night, and relatives say he was only wearing a t-shirt and boxers. Mr. Bastian is about 5 feet 10 inches tall and has dark brown complexion. Anyone seeing him or knowing about his whereabouts should contact police at 919, or you can contact relatives at 341-5579, 364-3014, or 364-4304.
Now, 13 young women got a shock of their lives this week as the Ministry of National Security introduced shock treatment for girls. The 3-day program gave them a reality check on the consequences of crime, ensuring that they make a change by engaging in positive activities and hard work. Our Charisma Robinson was there as 13 young girls got a pep talk from the National Security boss.
It was all smiles and fun and games this past Thursday, but that wasn't the case on day one of shock treatment for girls. Ranging in ages 12 through 15, 13 girls from 5 schools in New Providence got a first-hand look at what life behind bars could look like if they continued making bad choices. The girls were dropped off at Central Police Station, where they experienced the cold reality of a police interrogation. The girls were then taken to the morgue, where they were shocked again to see where the victims of violent crime and domestic violence ends up. For one girl in the group, it was close to home, as the country's latest victim of domestic violence was a relative.
That could have been me, but not like I would have for nothing. That made no sense.
After the day, you gonna listen to your mommy and every teacher you correspond with.
The experience continued as the girls went to the Bahamas Department of Corrections and faced the harshness of prison life. From there, they came face to face with the mother of domestic violence victim, Shandy Cartwright. It was a difficult moment for many.
Pretty smile.
But it wasn't all doom and gloom. The final day in the program, the girls got to meet two of the most prominent women in the country, Governor General Her Excellency Dame Marguerite Pinling and wife of the Prime Minister Bernadette Christie.
I'm a lawyer, an accountant, trust manager. I now even play the saxophone, which means you're never too old to learn, because I just started a few years ago. So every single day you should be doing something that takes you towards where you say you want to go. How am I talking?
Shock Treatment for Girls premieres on the ZNS Network early 2015. Charisma Robinson, ZNS Network News.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.